Hey Boy, Hey Girl by the Chemical Brothers comes from their third album Surrender. It came out in 1999 and it's that classic big beat combination of massive psychedelic drums, driving synth lines and some really interesting samples. I want to take a look at the samples, where they came from, what the stories are behind them and how the track really comes together. Hey Boy, Hey Girl by the Chemical Brothers. Here we go. So one kind of fun fact about Hey Boy, Hey Girl is that it never says the lines, Hey Boy, Hey Girl. The vocal actually says, Hey Girl, Be Boys. It comes from a song by Rockmaster Scott and the Dynamic Three called The Roof is on Fire. And if you've ever heard that party shout, the roof is on fire, that's where it came from. They're the people who wrote that. They also were one of the first people to put on record, throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. And they had a really good version of it where they said, and if you're not a square from Delaware and you've got on clean underwear and your mama ain't on welfare, somebody say, oh yeah, which is one of my favorites. They only really had two hits. So they had this one, The Roof is on Fire, and they also had Request Line. And if you know the song Work It by Missy Elliott, it starts off with that sample. DJ, please pick up your phone.
DJ, please pick up your phone. I'm on the request line.
Rockmaster Scott and the Dynamic Three.
Hey girls, beat boys, superstar DJs, here we go!
The weird little synth noise you can hear alongside the Rockmaster Scott and Dynamic 3 vocal actually comes from a song called Pee Wee's Dance by Joeski Love. Now Joeski was in a band with his friends and that band split up, and rather than just go off and, I don't know, get a job or whatever, he called up the record label and said, look, I'm still wanting to make music here. If there's anything else you want me to do, I'm really up for it. The record label boss at the other end of the phone said, well, you know, my kids are really into this movie that just came out called Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Now, Pee-wee's Big Adventure is like a comedy movie from around that time, 1985, 1986, about a kind of weird man who's also like, he's very childish and he gets into these weird kind of adventures. So Joeski Love says, yeah, no problem, I'll write a song about that. He puts the phone down, he hasn't seen the movie, but he calls his friend who has and says, look, tell me about this movie, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. The buddy takes him through the sort of main plot points. He writes a song in 5 minutes or whatever, and it's a smash hit. So I've loaded up both of those samples into Koala on my phone and I can show you how they sort of work together. I'm going to really struggle to do a lot of this record because it is so dense and complex that even when you've got all of the samples, it's very, very hard to reproduce. But I can do this bit. So if you take that Pee-wee's Dance synth and just sort of ping pong loop it backwards and forwards, you've got the sample from The Roof is on Fire on top of it, including the kick drum, by the way, and you've pretty much got that opening. Some of the drums on Hey Boy, Hey Girl are taken from Good News by the Fifth Dimension. If you know the Fifth Dimension, you probably know them from Up, Up and Away on My Beautiful Balloon or Let the Sunshine In. They're a super corny, like, vocal group from the end of the 60s. I'm also pretty sure that the Chemical Brothers have reused the same Bernard Purdie fill that they dropped on Block Rocking Beats. Have a listen, see what you think. I think it's the same. Now I think the coolest sample on Hey Boy, Hey Girl comes from a musician called Iannis Xenakis. Iannis Xenakis is a French-Greek composer from, I guess, the 60s all the way up to the 90s or even the 2000s, I think. And he was one of these people who could blend mathematics and cutting-edge computer science with his composing to do things that really no one else could. So around the mid to late 70s, Iannis worked on a computer program called UPIC. Now I want to get this right, even though I'm going to pronounce it wrong. UPIC stands for Unité Pédagogique Informatique CMU. It's a computerized musical composition tool. So what you could do is draw pictures on pieces of paper, scan it into this computer tool, and it would convert those images into sound. So there's a way to create music in a totally different way, or I should really say create sound. It's very difficult to get anything really musical out of this thing, as is demonstrated by the most famous piece of music that he made on this, which is called the Mycenae Alpha. The Mycenae Alpha by Iannis Xenakis, you can tell I'm enjoying these pronunciations, was part of a massive performance that he performed in a ruined Acropolis in Greece, in a place called Mycenae, which is hence the name of this thing. This performance was called the Polytope de Mycenae, and it was an audio-visual experience. There was dancing, there were costumes, there were images being projected all around this Acropolis. It was a huge production. He performed it between the 2nd and the 5th of September in 1978, just a few weeks after I was born. And it included this piece of music called the Mycenae Alpha, which was generated on this software called UPIC. That's a lot to take in, right? So he's scribbled on a piece of paper, he's fed it into this computer program called UPIC, and it out pops this bizarre bunch of noises. And then 20 years later, the Chemical Brothers sample it for Hey Boy, Hey Girl. Very cool. One interesting sidebar actually about Hey Boy, Hey Girl is that it really sounds a lot like a song called I Sit on Acid by the Lords of Acid. Now, the Lords of Acid are a group from Belgium who started in the late 80s and are still kind of going now. Their biggest claim to fame, I guess, has been on the soundtrack to Austin Powers' The Spy Who Shagged Me. They were also on the soundtrack to Mortal Kombat, if that's better for you. But anyway, this song of theirs, you know, the original sounds kind of similar, but then they released a 2000 version that came out in around the year 2000, but they'd been playing live for a little while before then, and it really, really sounds like Hey Boy, Hey Girl. The main person in the band Lords of Acid is a guy called Praga Khan. He actually confronted Tom and Ed from the Chemical Brothers backstage at a show in Belgium, and they kind of said, hey, look, everyone copies from everyone else, it's not a big deal, which isn't really a denial. And yeah, you do kind of wonder whether there was something in it. So what I normally do in these videos, and I've done another one of these for Block Rocking Beats, and I've done ones for Fatboy Slim and Gaultier and a bunch of other artists if you'd like to check those out. But I'll load all the samples up on a sampler on my phone called Koala, and then I'll reproduce the track from there. But the thing about Hey Boy, Hey Girl is that although it's got some really interesting samples, and I wanted to talk about it, I cannot make it on my phone because the samples are like 50% at most of the track. The rest is incredible drum beats coming in and out, which the Chemical Brothers wrote, synth lines that come in and out. So really, the only thing I can think to do with my phone to reproduce this track is call my mate. Hi, Guinan. Did you get the samples that I sent you?